this past year, I've just been really feeling this, like, okay, what am I doing with my life? Like, kind of feeling this pressure to live my life in a more purposeful way, both as a human and as an artist. And I was really kind of feeling this anxiety, even at the beginning of the year, and possibly for the past couple, 2 or 3 years, just feeling like, what do I really want to do? What do I want to do when I grow up? That kind of thing.
You mean you have grown up?
Exactly. Surprise. So when the COVID thing happened, I had some shows that were scheduled to perform. I had just finished writing a whole score for Raw Dance, which is a really cool dance company here in San Francisco. We were just a week away from this big performance and gone. In a way, it was kind of a shock, but also in a way, it's like I went right to this place of, oh, it's all about me now. It's not about showing up for somebody else or showing up for, oh, I have to be there on time. No, there's none of that. It's like, what do you have to give? What do you have to offer? What's in you that needs to get out? From that point on, it became this sort of internal process, and seeing my friends and family and just seeing the whole world go through this, and also what was happening politically, and I realized, wow, we're all sort of being called to access our true calling, for the lack of a better word. Like, what is your calling?
At the beginning of the pandemic, I was able to draw a lot. Then I got bored a little bit. But then, I started doing ceramics. And
do you want to show that little ceramic thing that you did?
Yeah, this is a little pipe I made. I've done a whole bunch of these ones, but I give them for presents and stuff like that. This was the first one, so that's why it's still at home. But then I'm making like newer and better ones, and those are like for presents in general.
You have some more of those on Instagram, you said? Some more?
No, from this, no. I'm collecting the videos and stuff like that, and I guess I will, because people say like, hey, I would buy one of those.
Yeah.
But also I have this problem with like actually charging people from things. Since I started tattooing, it's the first time that I was accepting money from my art or my work or whatever. Because before that, I was like doing drawings, and then I would give away like copies of it, or like little fanzines, or like little booklets, or like things like that. They were like really like, you have to sell this kind of stuff. I know a lot of people that would buy it, and I'm just like, yeah, sure. I really don't feel like putting my energy on like making it visible in Instagram. I'm not against it. I'm willing to. I just don't do it. It's just like, I don't know if it's laziness or what. Showing yourself in the internet, and that's one thing that I've been struggling a lot in this time. I've never been really good for it, like doing it, and it just
Speaking of asking for money and all that stuff. Yeah, I kind of fall into that situation as well. I've done a lot of pro bono gigs. They've also opened opportunities to do other gigs that do pay. You kind of get caught in between this your humility, like you want to be humble, and this is your art, and you want to inspire people, but at the same time, other people are getting paid a lot for doing their art as well. So I think it's important to find some sort of balance, not all the way where you're not making any money, because then without making any money, you can't proceed to make more art. Like, I need money to make more art, basically. We get together every Wednesday via Zoom, and we skill share. So 1 week I'll do a Saidi choreo, which is a folk dance from Egypt. Somebody else does silk fans. Then the week after that, we'll do yoga, and somebody else does sword. The next week, someone will talk about performance, stage presence. So we all have different skills, and we share these skills every Wednesday via Zoom, just to keep us connected and to keep us fresh.
instead of performing on a stage in front of hundreds of people, I'm performing maybe for whoever's walking by at the park, you know, and I've had amazing little connections with kids. You know, these kids come up and they're just like, wow, you know, they're like looking at me. And that was, you know, my wonder, you know, that's when I first saw Circus, like that's exactly what I felt and what brought me down that path.
That distance of audience and performer that you're creating because of the online thing, I kind of feel like it has been an interesting exercise for me in experiencing connection that is less tangible and yet still there, you know? So it's kind of like an energetic sort of sensing where it's less direct than, you know, if you are with them in that room, but it's still there, and like kind of sensing that energy also as a performer, you know, feeling that energy of the audience through the live stream when I'm performing, because I can sense a difference between me performing in the room with no video recording and with no audience versus even if I'm just video recording, even if it's not live stream. You know, I kind of feel like I'm already performing to an audience and the audience is my video camera, which is fascinating. You know, and sometimes I think of it in terms of like, maybe somebody will watch this 5 years, 10 years down the road, and that's my audience. And there is a certain time gap. Like I'm performing right now, but my audience is in the future. So that's kind of a fascinating thing for me to think about as well. That there's still that energy, you know? So I'm like, am I feeling energy from a future audience, you know?
Yeah.
But something that I found really interesting is actually the difference between performing on Zoom or over a different media platform versus performing in person. There were some things that I actually really liked. There was something I liked about the internal space, kind of what you said, Daniel, is like you just, instead of being at a gig where you have to figure out all this stuff and all these distractions, like it's just you're just doing it.
Meter maids.
Yeah, exactly. When you're thinking about all those San Francisco meter maids that are about to nail you, you know, and you're like, I'm going to lose half my money from this gig. So,
Exactly.
Yeah. But really, yeah, like I had some experiences performing where I didn't get any feedback from the audience. And I kind of loved that because it meant that I just had to perform and I just had to give it my all. And I knew they were watching and I knew that that meant I had to give it my all, but I couldn't tell what their response was. So in a certain sense, I was like, I don't care. And in the other sense, I was like, I'm giving it my all for them. But in that, there's something I think that exact actually feeling is what you need as a performer on stage almost every time is to give it your all, to try to create that feeling with the audience, but also not to always care so much what they think. You know, if you get too caught up in that, it'll pull you out of your performance.
Yeah, that's key.
And so it was a kind of nice exercise to really notice that and think about it, you know, like, because I was like, okay, well, I'm performing for them, but I have no idea what the response is right now. So I'm just going to do my performance and give it my all and trust that it's getting across.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's interesting as a, you know, I've been doing dance classes for so many years, and some of these performances where I'm playing in class are amazing. Like I just like creating these amazing loops, and then the instrument I brought in, everything was just perfect. And how many just hundreds of hours of music are just gone, evaporated, right? And the interesting thing about what's happening now, especially going live on Facebook, is everything is documented, you know, and you could even, and so it's interesting what Valencia was saying earlier about, you know, who's going to see this post, you know, who's going to be my audience, you know, 10, 20, 100 years from now. And so that's part of the cool thing about now is like I am building material. Like every time I perform, I'm building material. In fact, I'm just going to plug it now. I've created 3 albums since I've been in lockdown, and I'm hoping to release one by my birthday this Thursday. So it's just one of these, like, it's just one of the things I'm doing, like just going live. And if it was a good enough recording and a good enough performance, why not package it, do a little artwork, and just put it up on Bandcamp. Bandcamp has been a huge thing for musicians right now. And it's another source of income and also a great way to get your music out there.